صلى الله على محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Sahih al-Bukhari, the book about the information given by one person. Chapter on what is said regarding the acceptance of the information given by one truthful person concerning Adhan, Salat, prayer, Saum, fasting, and all other obligations and laws prescribed by Allah. The statement of Allah. And it is not proper for the believers to go out to fight, jihad, altogether. Of every troop of them, a party only should go forth that they who are left behind may get instructions in Islamic religion, and that they may warn their people when they return to them, so that they may beware of evil. Quran, chapter 9, verse 122. One man may be called Ta'ifa, that is, a group, as occurs in the statement of Allah, and if two parties or groups from among the believers fall to fighting. Quran, chapter 49, verse 9. This means that even if two men fall into a quarrel, they will be regarded as meant by this verse, and also the statement of Allah. If a fasik, liar, evil person comes to you with any news, verify it. Quran, chapter 49, verse 6. And how the Prophet, peace be upon him, sent his governors one after the other, so that if any one of them forgets something, the other would bring him back to the right legal way, the Prophet's Sunnah. Narrated Malik bin al-Huwairith, may Allah be pleased with him, we came to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and we were young men, nearly of equal ages, and we stayed with him for 20 nights. Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, was a very kind man, and when he realized our longing for our families, he asked us about those whom we had left behind. When we informed him, he said, "Go back to your families and stay with them and teach them religion and order them to do good deeds." The Prophet, peace be upon him, mentioned things some of which I remembered and some I did not. Then he said, "Offer salah, prayers, as you have seen me praying, and when it is the time of as-salah, prayer, one of you should pronounce the call, Adhan, for the Salah prayer, and the eldest of you should lead the Salah prayer." Narrated Ibn Masud, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, "The Adhan, call for prayer of Bilal, should not stop any one of you from taking his suhoor, for he pronounces the Adhan in order that whoever among you is offering the night prayer may return to eat his suhoor, and whoever among you is sleeping may get up, for it is not yet dawn when it is like this." Yahya, the sub-narrator, stretched his two index fingers sideways. Footnote 1. Suhoor, a meal taken late at night, before the Fajr, early morning prayer by a person intending to observe Saum, fasting. Footnote 2. Yahya wanted to illustrate what he meant. He showed that at the real dawn, light spread eastwards and westwards, and this is what he meant by stretching his finger sideways. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Bilal pronounces the Adhan at night, so that you may eat and drink, till Ibn Maktoum pronounces the Adhan for the Fajr prayer." Narrated Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet, peace be upon him, led us in Zohar prayer and offered 5 rak'ah. Somebody asked him whether the Salah prayer had been increased. He, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "And what is that?" They, the people, replied, "You have offered 5 rak'ah." Then the Prophet, peace be upon him, offered 2 prostrations of sahw after he had finished his salah, prayer, with the taslim. Narrated Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, finished his salah, prayer, after offering 2 rak'ah only. Dhul Yadain asked him whether the salah prayer had been reduced or you had forgotten. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Is Dhul Yadain speaking the truth?" The people said yes. Then Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, stood up and performed another 2 rak'ah, and then finished salah prayer with taslim, and then said the takbir, Allahu Akbar, and performed a prostration similar to or longer than his ordinary prostrations. Then he raised his head, said takbir, and prostrated, and then raised his head, making 2 prostrations of sahw. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, while the people were at Quba offering the morning salah, prayer, suddenly a person came to them saying, Tonight, divine revelation has been revealed to Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, and he has been ordered to face the Kaaba in Salah. Therefore, you people should face it. At that time, their faces were towards Sham, so they turned their faces towards the Kaaba at Mecca. Narrated Al-Bara, when Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, arrived at Al-Madinah, he offered Salah, prayer facing Jerusalem for 16 or 17 months, but he wished that he would be ordered to face the Kaaba. So Allah revealed, "Verily, we have seen the turning of your, Muhammad's, peace be upon him, face towards the heaven. Surely, we shall turn you to a Qibla, prayer direction that shall please you." Quran, chapter 2, verse 144. Thus, he was directed towards the Kaaba. A man offered the Asr prayer with the Prophet, peace be upon him, and then went out, and passing by some people from the Ansar, he said, "I testify that I have offered Salah, prayer, with the Prophet, peace be upon him, and he, the Prophet, peace be upon him, has offered prayers facing the Kaaba." Thereupon they, who were bowing in the Asr prayer, turned towards the Kaaba. Narrated Anas bin Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, I used to offer drinks prepared from infused dates to Abu Talha al-Ansari, Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah, and Ubay bin Ka'b. Then a person came to them and said, "All alcoholic drinks have been prohibited." Abu Talha then said, "O Anas, get up and break all these jars." So I got up and took a mortar belonging to us and hit the jars with its lower part till they broke. Narrated Hudayfa, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said to the people of Najran, "I will send you to an honest person who is really trustworthy." The companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, each desired to be that person. The Prophet, peace be upon him, sent Abu Ubaidah. Narrated Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "For every nation there is an Amin, honest, trustworthy person, and the Amin of this nation is Abu Ubaidah." See Hadith number 3744. Narrated Omar, may Allah be pleased with him. There was a man from the Ansar who was a friend of mine. If he was not present in the company of Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, I used to be present with Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, and I would tell him what I used to hear from Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him. And when I was absent from Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, he used to be present with him, and he would tell me what he used to hear from Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him. Narrated Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet, peace be upon him, sent an army and appointed a man as their commander. The man made a fire and then said to the soldiers, "Enter it." Some of them intended to enter it, while some others said, "We have run away from it," that is, embraced Islam to save ourselves from the hellfire. They mentioned that to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and he said about people who had intended to enter the fire, if they had entered it, they would have remained in it till the day of resurrection. Then he said to others, "No obedience for masiyah, sinful evil deeds. Obedience is required only in what is al-ma'ruf, Islamic monotheism, and all that Islam ordains, and all that is good." See Hadith number 4340. Narrated Abu Hurairah and Zaid bin Khalid, may Allah be pleased with them, two men sued each other before the Prophet, peace be upon him. Narrated Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him. While we were with Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, a Bedouin got up and said, "O Allah's Messenger, settle my case according to Allah's books, laws." Then his opponent got up and said, "O Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, he has said the truth. Settle his case according to Allah's book, laws, and allow me to speak." The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Speak." He said, "My son was a laborer for this man, and he committed illegal sexual intercourse with his wife. The people told me that my son should be stoned to death, but I ransomed him with 100 sheep and a slave girl. Then I asked the religious learned people, and they told me that his wife should be stoned to death, and my son should receive 100 lashes and be sentenced to 1 year of exile. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "By him in whose hand my soul is, I will judge between you according to Allah's book, laws. As for the slave girl and the sheep, they are to be returned. And as for your son, he shall receive 100 lashes and will be exiled for 1 year. You, O Unas, addressing a man from Bani Aslam, go tomorrow morning to the wife of this man, and if she confesses, then stone her to death." The next morning Unas went to the wife, and she confessed, and he stoned her to death. See Hadith number 6859.